Hey y'all, it's Elena.
And it's Candace.
And you're listening to Cousins on Crime.
Sam is licking himself, and it's very offensive. Sam is a dog, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
I know. Some people are like, who?
Ew.
Is what? How are you doing today, Lena?
I'm good. You tell me about yourself.
Another day, another dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy.
Zipping through life.
Yeah, busy. You know when you're just so busy?
Yeah.
And you just... At the end of the day, you lay in bed and your body's like throbbing from just doing like stuff nonstop.
And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. And you're like, it's 10 o'clock. What?
Yeah.
I've got to go to bed now. Like I can't just doom scroll on my phone.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Do you wake up at 5?
5:30 or 6.
That's disgusting.
It is, but you know what? I've got stuff to get done.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
Yeah, I can't go to the gym if I don't get up that early.
I know. You will not find me at the gym that early. I can tell you that much for free.
But I can tell you it's not every day. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a perfect person, okay?
Mm-hmm. Well, I admire you for getting up that early and getting stuff done.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I get a lot of stuff done in a day, but my kitchen sink, you should see it at the end. I used to be so particular about my dishes.
Yeah.
There was never a dish. This was before I had kids, by the way.
Yeah.
I never left dirty dishes in the sink. I just was so on it.
Yeah.
And now it's like both sides.
You have to prioritize, okay? As long as there's not food caked on.
Right. Well, I rinse all my dishes.
Exactly.
I'm still weird about that. But
yeah.
Tell me what you think about this, guys. I once saw a video of someone who said she designs dishwashers.
Okay.
And she's like, you shouldn't pre-rinse your dishes because the dishwashers are designed to detect food.
Okay.
And that's how they clean it. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
No, yeah, I've heard that.
That's a lie.
Yeah, you don't have to, you're wasting your time rinsing your dishes because the dishwasher is going to clean it. But that is so gross to me.
There is no person inside there scrubbing the dishes. There's nobody in there.
But, okay, where does all the food go? Like all around the place?
Well, if it's caked on, like if Daniel leaves a plate of whatever it is, and he doesn't rinse it off and it's caked on and it takes me using my fingernails to get the food off the plate, I promise you the dishwasher's not going to get it off.
Well, it does get like really steamy hot, which is
fine.
Supposed to like, melt it off or whatever, but
I've done experiments.
Okay.
Where, because Daniel and I, this has been when we first got married,
discussion.
I'm like, because, he's from England.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has dishwashers there. We grew up without dishwashers.
Yeah.
We hand washed everything.
Well, we had a dishwasher, but
we had a dishwasher, but
we still hand washed.
Yeah. But I was like, you can't just stick things in there and they get clean.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you can.
So you tried it.
I would be like, try it. Put it in there. And sure enough, they come out and they still have food on them. And like you said, it gets really steamy and hot in there. So they're like cemented on there now. Like the food particles are cemented to the plate.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Lifestyles with Lena and Candace.
Yeah.
Tune
You thought you were coming.
Where we talk about dryer lint. I don't know.
We will. I mean, I can come up with some stories.
I've got some things to say about dryer lint, but let's wait till next week.
Okay. Well, I do have a joke for you.
Oh, go on.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Candace.
Candace who?
Candace Show, just get on the road.
Did you make that up?
No.
It was in a joke book?
Well, so my sister every day calls me or sends me all these jokes, like these dad jokes.
Oh my gosh.
This was one of them. I said, yeah, I'm using it.
She's like, you have to say this in one of your episodes.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's funny. I like it.
I'm glad you laughed.
Okay. I hope Daniel doesn't hear this because he's going to be
using it.
He loves a dad joke.
Oh, I'm going to have to send him some.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get the show on the road.
Let's.
Today I'm going to tell you about Kevin Lanusse. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I meant to check the pronunciation, but he was 41. Dewlon Donell, 46. Gregory Dolezal, he was 44. And Albert Reed, 41. And Shaun Runyon, 39 years old. They all worked for a company called J&B Electric Company out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They were contracted to do electrical work at the Publix Corporation in Lakeland, Florida.
Uh-huh.
The electricians were living in a short-term rental property. Have you heard this?
No,
Okay.
but I bet they were having fun because where did you say? Maryland?
Yes, one of the men was from Maryland. Others were from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. So Northerners. And they get to stay in Florida?
Florida, close to Disney World.
I mean, and Lakeland is close to Tampa. So they're close to the beach. And
yeah. So they're living in this short-term rental property at Windsor Resort in Davenport, Florida.
I used to live in Davenport.
You know the area.
I know the area. It's got the Mickey-shaped telephone pole.
Oh.
Anyways, as you were.
Reminiscing, huh? On Friday, October 1st of 2021 at about 2 a.m., the crew was working overnight. Shaun had gotten into an argument with Kevin.
Ooh.
Kevin was the supervisor of the crew. Kevin told Shaun that he was not working fast enough.
Yikes.
Like, do better, bro.
Yo.
Shaun, he got his feelings hurt. Actually, it enraged him.
Well, he was probably tired. I mean, if they're working overnight.
Well, yeah, he's probably tired or maybe just lazy.
Okay.
Maybe one of those that just lets the crew do all the work while he just kind of sits back.
People like that.
That's the kind of person I think he was.
Okay.
But yeah, he was enraged to be told that his work was not good enough. So he punched Kevin in the face and he then got into the company truck and drove off. Shaun is the half brother of the owner of the company.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe he thought he didn't have to do all this work.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you, Kevin, to tell me what to do? So when talking to his brother about the incident, his brother tells Shaun, just come home. He began to follow the instructions, driving the company truck back to Pennsylvania. But as Shaun is driving, he reaches Cordell, Georgia. And by this time, he's just replaying the scene in his head, the argument over and over.
He's getting more and more upset.
Right. He's stewing.
Yeah.
He can't let it go. He decides that he's going to go back to the rental house and do something about it.
Oh.
He heard an advertisement on the radio for Broken Arrow Outfitters. They were having a big sale. And he's like, I know what I'm going to do. He stops in Georgia and he buys a crossbow. From the Outfitters store and starts driving back to Florida. He parked the company truck at the Tampa airport and rented a blue Nissan Versa. He went to Target and bought a baseball bat.
Jeez.
He's getting closer to the rental house where he had been staying with his boss and coworkers. And now by this time, it's Friday night. This all started at 2 a.m. that Friday morning when he was working. It's been a busy day for him.
Yeah.
Work, driving, plotting revenge, buying weapons, renting a car. He was tired. He stops at a Walmart parking lot and slept for the night.
Okay. As you do.
That Saturday morning, October 2nd, he wakes up and heads to the rental house. Now, he knows that the crew had been working all night and they should be home and asleep by now.
Yeah.
Police received a 911 call at 9:44 a.m. that Saturday morning. And when paramedics arrived, they found Dew and Greg beaten to death.
Oh my gosh.
Kevin had been beaten. He was still alive, but unconscious.
Oh my gosh.
On the way to the hospital, Kevin coded, but paramedics were able to revive him. However, he later died at the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So there were other people in the house that were witnesses to who, what, and when. Shaun was quickly found and brought in for questioning and confessed that he intended to kill 3 people staying in that house.
Why? I mean, I know he had an argument with the other guy, but why the other ones?
I think they were specifically on his crew, and I'm not sure if they exchanged words.
Maybe they chimed in, and he was like, how can you chime in? You know?
I don't know. It's all speculation.
Oh my gosh.
So he says when he arrived to the house, he grabbed the baseball bat, thinking that would be better than the crossbow. He walked to the back of the house and entered through the back door. Everyone was asleep in their respective bedroom. Kevin was staying on the bottom floor of the 2-story house. Shaun chose his bedroom first. He walked in and saw Kevin sleeping and immediately started beating him in the face.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
No. Yeah, he didn't have a chance. He couldn't even defend himself.
He probably didn't even know what was what.
No. And I think that we can be sure that he didn't feel or didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And so anyway.
There's that.
Yeah. So Shaun's words were, I went to town on his face with the baseball bat. When I was confident that he was dead, I went upstairs to Dew's bedroom. He said, I beat Dew in the head until I was confident that he was done. He then went into Greg Dolezal's room and closed the door. Shaun says he thinks that closing the door woke Greg up. So Greg started fighting back as Shaun was hitting him with the bat. So Shaun took out his knife that he kept on himself most of the time and started stabbing Greg repeatedly. God. Greg was able to make it downstairs onto the front porch, but when he reached the porch, he collapsed and died.
No, that's...
A 4th person was in the house, Albert. There were actually others in the home, a man and his 8-year-old daughter. Some reports said 7, some reports said 8, but and another woman. I'm not sure if they worked for the company too or what the relation was, but they all witnessed some of what Shaun did.
Whoa.
The man and his daughter heard the commotion and passed large blood stains as they fled down the stairs and out
my God.
Away.
How scary.
I know.
Oh, my Lord.
The woman saw Shaun washing blood from his hands in the kitchen sink as she ran out of the house.
And he saw them?
I don't know if he saw them, but they definitely saw.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, yes. Shaun saw Albert because Shaun hit Albert with the bat once. It hit him across the back and the shoulder. But Shaun says his only targets were Kevin, Dewlon, and Greg.
He would have killed everybody in that house.
Yeah.
Though. He didn't value human life. He went there to kill.
Yeah.
And all of these witnesses, oh my gosh.
Right. I think the reason he didn't continue was because he was one of those cowards that if they can't defend themselves, then I'm going to do it. But these people were now awake and they could have fought for their lives.
Exactly.
And anyway, Shaun
could have went to town on his face.
Right? What a nasty person.
That's gross.
So Shaun hit Albert once in the back and the shoulder, but Shaun says, you know, his targets were those 3. Albert told police he watched Shaun fatally stab their coworker, Greg, multiple times as Greg screamed for help.
Oh my God.
Shaun then left the house in the blue Nissan Versa rental car.
How planned.
Right?
This is so... I'm going to drive to the airport. I'm going to pick up this crossbow, then this bat over here. I'm going to pick up this car here.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah.
This feels so not like spur of the moment decisions. It's just like...
Definitely premeditated.
Oh my gosh.
But it's interesting to me that he's like getting this rental car to try to not put the company truck in but now he knows there's other people staying there. There's going to be witnesses, but he leaves them alive. Yeah. He
was in a state.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he drove over to the house of a Publix employee that he knew and had talked to. They had planned on Shaun doing some tile work at his house.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Shaun arrived at this guy's house and this guy notices blood on Shaun's clothes. The guy asked him what happened, and Shaun told him that he was in a fight and he was raped.
What?
The guy gave Shaun a cloth and let him clean himself up, and he told Shaun that he should really go to the hospital, and Shaun took his advice. He left and he went to the hospital. When Shaun left the man's home, the guy called police and told them what he just encountered and the story that Shaun gave. He told them, I just sent the guy to the hospital, so you should find him there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not
smart.
Every day that someone does something like, we're such bystanders by nature, and we just like, oh, someone
I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, I don't want. And like, oh no, he got attacked. He'll call the police, but he called the police. That's amazing.
Right. So now by this time, police had already been called to the scene of the crime, so they knew what was going on. Police arrived at Lake Wells Hospital and took Shaun into custody. He confessed to them, telling the story several times through the day. He told police that the men raped him and he hated them.
What?
Yeah.
What? Like, why bring that into it?
I guess self-defense.
Oh,
but no,
I don't know what to say
but
about
no,
that.
he left and came back. So, Shaun went through a sexual assault examination in which there was no sign of what he said happened. Mm-hmm. Detectives did not believe that story at all.
Idiot.
The sheriff did a press conference and gave the story of which I just gave you. He said Shaun was totally cooperative, and he admitted that he had used cocaine and marijuana in the past, but he was of clear mind when he did the crime.
Okay.
However, Shaun, why would you admit that?
I was about to say, I'd go with the coke.
Yeah, like...
I was on coke.
Yeah.
And just like, maybe that's going to help a little. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Probably
makes no
not,
sense.
But,
However, yeah, Shaun did have cocaine and marijuana in his system. Now, let me just tell you, and you probably won't be surprised, Candace, Shaun had an aggressive record.
Is that right?
In Pennsylvania, and he was out on a $75,000 bond. He had charges for strangulation.
Oh my God.
Endangering the welfare of children. Terroristic threats with intent to terrorize another. Reckless endangering of another. Assault. Drug possession, and harassment. In fact, his ex-girlfriend made a statement saying that these men would still be alive if her case against him would have been handled correctly.
Oh, I hate it.
I know.
I hate it.
Sickening. Just makes my stomach hurt. So during this conference with Sheriff Grady Judd, a reporter brings up the fact that Shaun had plenty of time to change his mind and turn around. Just like you said, it's very well planned.
Oh, they say the moment you have 1 second before you pull the trigger. You had an opportunity.
So many opportunities.
And he had 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. The driving time, the sleeping in the Walmart parking lot. He could have turned
the renting
around.
Of the car. Have you ever rented a car? It's a rigmarole.
It is.
You have to give them a card and they're not going to charge it, but they are going to charge it a little bit.
And then an extra insurance charge.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a rigmarole.
Yeah.
And he did all of this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Receipts and paper trails.
I've never bought a crossbow, but I imagine there's some paperwork to that.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I know Chris has one, but I don't think he.
I mean, you don't have to sign anything saying.
I don't know.
I own this.
I must have not been with him when he got it because I don't know.
I mean, do they even have bags big enough for that? I mean,
yeah.
He just carried it out of the store.
Oh, I don't know if he. Oh, you mean like shopping bags?
Yeah, like he just was. They're like
it would have been in a box.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well. Good Lord.
Yeah. The sheriff says, yes, he could have turned around, but instead he spent all of that time preparing what he was going to do. Mm-hmm. Shaun was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and attempted murder of Albert Reed, the one he hit as he's fleeing the scene. Last I could find is that they were seeking the death penalty. And I've only found where he has been charged and is still being held and has not gone to trial yet. That was in 2021.
Wow. Come on, Florida.
I know.
Florida.
It just give these families the justice.
Oh, Florida. They're too busy at Disney. And
well,
Universal.
Disney, hurricanes.
I know.
But 3 people were murdered.
My God.
Yeah. And so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about these 3 men. I hate that it's a little bit because I really tried to find more information about them. But they were good people and they had families back home. Yes. That were like, oh, I miss him. I can't wait till he gets home. And they had plans to do stuff when they got home. And so, yeah, I'm going to tell you what I have. Kevin Lanusse. I hope I'm saying that right. He lived in Pennsylvania. He had a fiance, Laura. He had 2 sons, 3 and 19. Oh my gosh. It was actually said that he was best friends with his 19-year-old son. Aww. He had 2 daughters, 6 and 9, several nieces and nephews that he was close to. He spoke to his sisters every day. Kevin was an outgoing man and an affectionate father who was always quick to smile. Aww. He'd surprise his children with presents when he'd return home from his contracted jobs. So yeah, just very family oriented. He worked hard for his family. Dewlon Donell was a family man. He had a wife, Dee, and their 2 children, 8 and 13. He also had 2 older daughters from a previous relationship. He had a tight circle. He would give you his last dollar and the shirt off of his back. He had plans with his family and plans and ambitions for his future. Do and D. I know. That. Isn't that so cute?
So cute.
Greg Dolezal, it said that he was kind and had a heart of gold and would do what he needed to do to help those that he loved. I read a few articles where his niece talked so lovingly about him. One statement saying she hasn't met anyone that gave and fought for what they love more than he did. The 3 of them became really close while working out of town together. I mean, as they're talking on the phone with their loved ones, they're all like chiming in the background, talking to each other, to each other's families. And yeah, so it's like a family away from family.
Exactly. You kind of have to if you're going to make it through the contract. And
yeah. so far away.
Oh, yeah.
All these men were good family men who worked hard to take care of their families, and they did not deserve this. But maybe one day I can give y'all an update to the justice.
Okay, tell me about the liability of the company, because this is massive waving red flag for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get into researching all of that. I wanted to, I just did not have time. But I did see where a couple of the families, I don't know if it was actually family members or friends, but especially on the GoFundMe pages, they were saying the company is not doing much to help these families.
Well, and wasn't he employed because he was
the brother?
The brother?
Yes. And
they knew about his criminal history.
Exactly.
So they were putting other people in danger.
Yeah.
They're liable.
Right.
This feels like a huge liability case.
Right. And so I feel like the company wasn't really doing much to help the family because they didn't know.
Because they had egg on their face.
They did.
And they were like, oh.
Yeah. They're in the middle of a family thing with these employees.
That's disgusting.
It
and
is.
The fact that they shied away from helping the families, like financially with anything, they should have thrown money at the families.
And you know, that's just a couple of reports that I saw. And that was in 2021, the last reports.
Wow.
So if something has happened between now and then, I hope it has, but I don't know. It's not out for the world to see. I can tell you that.
Well, it could very well still be wrapped up in litigation
until things happen with the trial or whatever.
You better believe. And that's the thing is, you're right. There's a criminal suit going on, so they may not be able to file in a civil wrongful death or something against the company because that lawsuit is already going on. I don't know how it works in Florida, but you better believe that if my family member was murdered because some idiot had his brother, his idiot brother, who was a repeat offender of multiple, like, terroristic threats, strangulation. That's not what?
I know.
This isn't like, oh, he broke into a car when he was 15 and never did anything else, like, silly boy. I mean, he had violent crimes.
Exactly.
And he was let out.
He was, And
he was given a job.
I mean, and the owner of the company could have been a great man, totally different than his brother. And maybe he gave his brother a job because he wanted to give him another chance. But that you have to put in your mind that you're putting these people in danger.
Okay, so maybe find a different role for him. Maybe not
out of
off
town,
campus, out of town for an extended period of time with people, and he's unsupervised. He doesn't have anybody that he's close with.
Yeah.
And he's there with a bunch of guys that are already close. Like, oh, that's just...
Yeah. That's...
Oh, I'm fired up now.
I know. So I'm going to have to be looking out for this next phase in justice.
We'll have to do a follow-up episode on this.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow. I mean, I know this is a short episode, but sometimes cases like this, like we talk about media coverage, and it's always about this freak who was let out on parole, and the victims get so lost.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that even though we didn't have much information about them, you were able to tell their stories and how much they were loved. And these hard workers that went out on contracts, left their family behind so they can work really hard. I mean, who wants to leave their family and go work out of town for an extended period of time?
Right.
But they did what they had to do.
Exactly.
They didn't deserve not even a bit of it.
No.
Well, thank you for telling their stories, and that was great. Let's do it again sometime.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cousins on Crime. Get connected with us by becoming a free member on our Patreon. Or for just $5 a month, you'll have access to bonus episodes, discussion groups, and much more. If you can't afford $5 a month, we get it. Inflation, am I right? Please consider leaving us a positive review and rating wherever you listen.
And don't forget merch. Support our podcast and show the love by sporting t-shirts with our latest designs, or grab an evidence bag to keep the chain of custody for all your valuables. Don't forget to follow our show on your favorite streaming app so you never miss an episode, and get photos and updates on our Instagram at Cousins on Crime Podcast or our Cousins on Crime Facebook page. Have a case suggestion? Email us at cousinsoncrime@gmail.com.